Let's be friends. You only need what's best for you and not them. Don't pretend. Now I don't wanna lose sleep thinking about everything we could be. Let's just see what comes to be. She said, we're all made in Hollywood, fake loving and hating on silver screens, believing everything we come to see. Go outside, it feels so good. We're loving and hating and making scenes. Now we just see everything we believe. We just see everything. Silver screens, believing everything we come to see. Go outside, it feels so good. We're loving and hating and making scenes. Now we just see everything we believe. We just see everything. 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 We just see must be you and I. It's got me thinking about us more. It's these bright lights that put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes.
Hey, what's up, you guys? So here we are. It is fun night, fun time. I'm here with some of my boys and girls. We're about to have a great time of year. It is, of course, Zaid with the ArtChimps, and tonight our theme is, of course, Pride Month. Now, it has been an interesting month. Lots and lots of different things that we've seen all over social media over here, but we're going to talk about all that stuff a little way down the road. Right now, though, let's have a look at who's who in the zoo right now. Shouting out with my boy Paul. How's it going there, Paul?
Hello. How's it going, everybody?
All good here, all good. Paul, have you been behaving yourself or have you been misbehaving?
Oh, no, not at all. I've been going out and coughing on everybody and running away.
Excellent strategy.
Excellent. Yes. The important thing is that you don't stick around long enough now for them to throw some phlegm back on you. I made that mistake once.
I like the social distancing. You got to keep it going.
Very nice. Very nice. Crossing over, of course, to my boy, Daniel Govar, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. Very well.
You have been very, very busy. I'm gonna have to dig you about that later. And I believe that you are being very, very ambitious tonight as well. But otherwise, you're keeping safe over there, brother?
Always. Yeah, my kiddo had a ear infection, and that was the highlight of our week.
Exciting. In fact, I think from now on, your new theme song is going to be Daddy Boy. The ears are ringing. Moving right along then. Okay, Mike Rooth, ladies and gentlemen, the uncouth one is here. Mike, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. A little bit too warm, but I'm all right. I'm not built for the heat, but I'm gonna survive. It's gonna be okay.
Now, Mike, I'm a bit concerned. I mean, this month doing something different of you. We only see one camera. We are not gazing upon that magnificent beard. What is going on?
I'm just sparing you the nightmares that will come if you see the state of me right now. That's all. Yeah, it's I'm halfway between bacon and I'm basically like a 46-year-old Bobby Hill. Sitting here with my gout and my worries and my sweat, it's so I'm just sparing you all the sight of that,
You know what, like the way you say it, like your gout and your worries, your sweat, it sounds like a Cisco song. Like, who remembers Cisco? No? Wrong crowd. Okay. Well, you know what? That's the one. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Witcher. Ray, brother, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm also hiding my face because it's post-COVID and you don't want to see that mess either. So let's spare the world from that.
Okay, fine. So what's going to happen now is that I'm just basically going to be looking awkwardly over here on the side, the whole time, because no one else is trying to see. Well, I know my boy Tony won't leave me hanging. Where's Tony Moy, ladies and gentlemen? You know him as...
He took a break somewhere. I don't know where he is.
Oh, he is gone.
That took a very, very dark turn. I didn't see that one coming, and now it's all awkward and stuff over there. But you know what? We shall endure. Now I'm just moving through my screen over here, just making sure that everyone is still with us over here. I know that we will be joined slightly later by Stephan. I know that we're going to be probably seeing a guest appearance slightly later tonight as well. But wait, have I introduced everyone on my list? Yes, I have.
I think so.
So you might have.
Yeah. Okay, and of course on the back end of there, we've got the new guy, we've got Robo Robbie, and of course the other guy who I have taken to calling Special Query Steve, but that name is still up for debate. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how if anyone actually adopts that. Okay, so guys, let's get into it. Okay, we are talking Pride Month. I'm not going to lie. I have very recently learned the importance of being an ally. And it's only because I come from a very, very small town in the middle of nowhere. And it's really, really sad that growing up wasn't exposed to the life journey and the life experience of so many people out there. And I think it's wonderful, just to get right out there, I think it's wonderful that we actually have an entire month to celebrate this thing. And tonight, everyone is focusing on characters that actually embody, in some way, shape, or form, that celebration. So let's take it from the top over there, starting out with Ray. Ray, what are you doing for us tonight?
Yeah, so I'm drawing my absolute all-time favorite character, Calderon, otherwise known as Aqualad from Young Justice. So it finally was canonically confirmed that he is gay. So it appeared in Young Justice Season 3 with a rather infamous kiss, which was pretty awesome. Calder, to me, represents nobility, power, grace, and just everything that I wish Aquaman actually was, because he's also cool. Oof. So I've always liked the fact that he has more techno wizardry than just speaking to dolphins. So I think he's a better Aquaman. I just think he's a more interesting character. Hashtag just saying.
Shots fired.
You know what? I actually don't know where to go with that, because he's right. He's right. So I don't know. Okay, so we got Aqualad over there, right? So then tell us, and Paul, what are you working on tonight?
I'm working on a Catwoman. Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I wasn't really sure which characters to do, so I did a little bit of Googling. And as I do every month, I'm like, okay, what's the topic this month? Okay, Google and add the word list at the end.
Fair. That's totally fair.
Right?
Very nice.
We're just using the tools of our age that we live in. That's fine. That's totally
exactly. Right?
Life hacks. Life hacks.
Yeah, and I fell upon doing Catwoman. Although awesome. I feel like Catwoman and Batman are in the news for different reasons lately.
Ooh, yes. Superheroes don't do that. Oh,
see what you did there. Yeah. See what you did there. There's actually been a bit of a debate going on about that. There was a piece of art that made its way online, I think, this past month, with exactly what is doing things that shouldn't do, walks on the beach and stuff, so let's see what Paul creates for us. Let's see what Paul creates for us over there. Okay, then the uncouth one, Mike. What are we doing tonight?
So I found this. I had a couple of ideas, but I dug through my archives and I found this Hellblazer blank cover. So I'm just kind of working up the rough sketch of John Constantine.
Oh, cool.
It's funny, someone actually argued with me that it's actually pronounced Constantine, and which doesn't roll off the tongue quite as easily. But I had some guy get really mad at me that he's not Constantine, he's not a teen, he's Constantine. And I was like, okay, fine, it's Constantine, take it easy.
Wow.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So but yes, I'm drawing John Constantine, and I've actually been reading the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing recently, like the kind of
nice.
And he features very heavily in that. And you get a little bit of a look into his life, and I guess he's apparently been a confirmed bisexual since 1982. So that's who I'm drawing today.
Ahead of the curve, he was Alan Moore. Yes. Okay, 100%. So we're going to be seeing the comic version of him, and of course, not the Keanu Reeves version, I'm assuming. Yes.
Yes, yeah, I'll be sticking to the comic book version. I think originally he was kind of modeled after Sting. When you look at the old drawings, he looks an awful lot like Sting from the '80s. So. Not the wrestler Sting, the musician Sting.
No. No, important disclaimer.
You have to make that distinction, yes, yeah.
In every move you make. Take it away. You left me hanging there.
Oh, sorry. I was concentrating, okay.
Okay, fine. We leave it there. Then, of course, we know him as a very, very up-to-date person, somebody who has his eye on the prize at all times, a frequent correspondent for places I'm not supposed to mention because I got into trouble for mentioning it the last time. There's a gentleman, Mr. Tony Moy. Tony, what are we doing tonight?
We are painting Loki, who was recently confirmed that he is a bisexual, and loving the new series so far.
So good.
It is so good. So good. Did you guys watch?
Okay, he has a beautiful tiara too, so that helps.
Has everyone over here watched episode 3 already? Is everyone up to date?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That line, you know, when this Salvi is like, okay, so is there like a princess or a prince, you know, waiting for you? And he's like, they've been both. I was like, yes, that is how you feel it. That is how you write dialogue, because it's like, this is just a part of the person's identity. It's all out of there. Just get it out, move on with it, and keep on going. That was beautifully written. Now. When it comes to beautiful things, there is, of course, Danny. So, Daniel, what are we doing tonight? Before we went online, you had said something, and I claimed that you were being very, very ambitious. So, are you sticking with that? What are we doing tonight?
I think I'm gonna do 2. I think I'm gonna do Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and I think I'm also going to do North Star, which is what I'm working on right now.
So 3.
Love it. A little bit of Canadian representation as well.
See now, this is slightly awkward for me because I was going to be attempting Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy as well.
Which is why I'm going to do it, yeah.
Now you're just gonna make me look down like the neighbor's child over here. Like no matter what I do, it's gonna look like the neighbor's child stuff. Come on, man.
No, you got it.
Say, why I gotta be hating?
Okay, no. It's fine. You know what? I will endeavor. I will enjoy. You know what? Like, I won't lie. I thoroughly enjoy these sessions over here because as we have these discussions, and fans will agree, I learn so much about how you guys think, how you approach various works and stuff like that. And I find that it helps me to think slightly differently as an aspiring, not quite artist. So yeah, I think that tonight we're gonna have some epic discussions as well. But yeah, let's open it up for discussion, guys. How are things going right now? How's everyone doing? Floor's yours.
Let's do.
Conversation time.
All right, I'll talk. I've been hip deep in project work lately, so I've been like kind of head down, not really posting much lately. All the stuff I'm working on, I can't even talk about, which is super annoying. I hate that so much. It's like, I mean, everybody does it, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it really is annoying when you watch your follower count drop off because you can't share anything you're doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, have you all been losing followers on Instagram lately?
I've been kind of I've been growing, but I haven't really been posting anything. So it's I figure it's all bots. I mean,
yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
My Instagram's been slightly static, but it's been on the upward trend. It just has,
That's good.
Yeah, there was a time where I got a bunch of followers from like India, like a lot.
And you're like, I'm big in India.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the only people from India that I know are actually Canadian citizens. so like, okay, these are definitely bots. And then like I would gradually get more followers, but then my follower number would stay the same. So it's like those bots are disappearing as I get a legitimate follower.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that, Dan, with the when you can't share what you're working on. I've been drawing a comic book, and it's like I can't share anything because it's all spoilers. So like I'm occasionally kind of just posting like old drawings just for the sake of getting some stimulus. It's funny because I'll post something like from 3 years ago and have everyone go, "That's amazing! That's your best piece yet." And I've been like, "It's an old one, but thank you."
Yeah. Exactly. I love that. Where it's like, oh yeah, I guess you really haven't been looking at my work ever.
Yeah.
Huh?
Or they haven't been following you 3 years ago.
Well, that's the other thing too.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
My only big news this week was I was sitting on this for a long time, but my newest cover for The Last Ronin has just been kind of launched. So
congrats.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And I got a little homage to the first issue here by Eastman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a really big piece. It's like it's 22 by 17, so it's a.
You're drawing huge. Man.
Yeah.
I just like the comfort of it. I think maybe my eyes are wearing out, and I'm not willing to admit that. So I'm just working larger and larger to accommodate.
Well, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, your
Oh,
last piece. I saw the. What is it? We did the stream.
Oh yeah, for the yes. What was that for again? Yeah, the charity.
India COVID relief.
Yeah, the COVID relief in India. Yes, yes. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a huge piece. That was 18 by 24.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I like it's kind of
ambitious.
nice. Like it's nice to use your whole arm when you're drawing for a change. I do so much tight little panel work that you end up just spending all your time with your eyeballs an inch from the page and working in these fine details. So it's nice to work big and broad and kind of get your whole body involved with the drawing.
That's legit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Wait, so have you sold any of those pieces? How difficult is that to ship?
It's not terrible. Like I that piece that we for that charity, that one, the winner of that was of course Eric Paris was the winner of that. He's a huge collector, and he tends to prefer when I work of that size. So he's basically been my largest source of income this year. He's been so steadily buying my work that I don't even charge him shipping anymore. But within Canada, I can actually move a big piece like that for around like 25 or 30 bucks. So it's not too bad. But shipping something like that overseas would be, probably several $100s. It's because they're pretty big. But I just ship them flat, and I basically build a kind of a sturdy box, like a almost like a foam core with extra duct tape. Like I really make a pretty sturdy structure to send it in, like almost like a mini crate, basically. But yeah, it's a nice size to work at, though. I've actually done some bigger ones. I have loads and loads. A few years ago, a friend of mine passed away and left me all of his watercolor supplies, and he worked very large. So I have something like 600 sheets of huge 22 by 30 cold press 140 pound or 300 pound paper. So it's really nice.
Awesome.
I wish I had the hot press. Like I'm like, oh wait, you had to go ahead and die and leave me the cold press stuff. No, but no, it's wonderful stuff to work on, and I've got so much of it. Like if anyone needs any, just let me know. I'll send you some. Oh no, I could live 3 lifetimes and never paint on all this paper I have here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, not that your friend died, but
Thanks for the disclaimer. We were all like, this bastish.
This pencil that I'm drawing with is one that he gave me back in 1993. I've been using it since 1993, and it's a Stadler. It's a Rotring kind of mechanical pencil, and I actually have 2 of them because this is my original one. It's old, rusted, and the spring is gone on it, but it still works. It just rattles when I draw. And before he passed away, it was about 2014. He saw me at a convention drawing with this pencil, and he was like, is that still the same pencil I gave you back in the 90s? I said, yeah. He goes, wow. He goes, it still works. I said, oh, yeah, it works fine. And then like the next day, he showed up at the show, and he presented me with his brand new, because he bought one for himself the same day back in 93 and never used it. So it was sitting in its box all these years. So he's like, here's a new one, because they don't make them anymore. So here's another one. So yeah, I've literally, most of the drawings you've seen me do in the last 10, 15 years have all been drawn with this pencil.
That's impressive.
I need better friends. I Like I get jacked. but then again, Mike, you know what? Let's be honest with you here. You're the same guy who did like a whole series of things you can draw with, and you can draw with anything. So I mean, there was at one time with the fishbone, and the other time with the thistles. So I'm like, okay, is it a pencil thing or is it just a Mike Rooth thing? I don't know. The jury's out.
I just don't like anything go to waste. Like here's an example here. This is an action figure blister pack that I use as a palette, because separate holes for all the little separate pockets for accessories and weapons and extra hands and faces and things like that come with action figures. So I've had this for a while, and I just use it as a palette. Like it's got all these little separate components already built in. I'm basically a hoarder is what I'm trying to say, guys, and I need help.
No, my friend.
Admitting it is half the battle.
No, man, you are just accidentally South African Indian. You fit among my people. Oh, okay. So Paul, I see that you're using some an airbrush over there. What are you up to? What's going on? Can we just focus on Paul's work, please?
I think I'm frozen. I don't know if you guys can you see
You
me?
are a bit
Can you hear
frozen,
me?
Yeah, we
yeah.
can see you.
Here we go.
Okay. Well, well, since you can hear me, I'll figure out the frozen thing later. Yeah, I'm just I do a lot of airbrushing for these shows just because it's faster. I mean, it's 2 hours isn't a long time, right? Especially when you're doing 3 characters.
Rub it in. Oh,
I know. I'm doing one. I'm like, how fast can I go? Like, I'm worried I'm not gonna get finished. But yeah. So I'm just airbrushing background to get a little bit of depth and blur and whatever. So like I don't know. I like to get it like softer and smoother versus doing like, you know, with the wash you could kind of see the edges and stuff, but you know, with the airbrush it's a lot faster to just get it, you know, smoother that way and then move on to the next thing. You know, not as many people are interested in the background, so I gotta get the background done and then start working on Catwoman, you know.
But out of interest, like, how are you preserving your, you know, your initial this thing? Because, like, okay, so obviously it comes with years and years of practice, but you know, like for somebody who's a novice now who may want to try dabbling with an airbrush, just to make sure that they don't mess up the actual figure itself. Any tips? Any advice?
Oh yeah, so just use tape. That's what I'm using here. I've tried many different types of masking tape before, but I saw this one video where this girl, she uses different types of tape, including this Scotch tape, which I never would have thought to use. It's 810D magic tape, I guess, and it produces the sharpest edges, and it's easy to peel off just better than like the blue masking tape, or there's another type of there's another type of tape. I think it's from
Just
Japan.
like some Frisket?
Sorry?
Just instead of using like Frisket?
Or like Frisket film? Yeah. I mean, Frisket film I think is the best, but then if you're just using tape, I think that this tape is the best in my opinion. But yeah, Frisket film is it's expensive to use.
Yeah.
But you get what you pay for, you know. Like like you use an entire sheet and it's like, I don't know, it feels like you're using $100 worth of art supplies right there, and then you just you could try to save it, but then, yeah. But then I also use this. Where did I just dump it? Everybody has one of these, I'm sure. Masking fluid. Oh yeah. Let me try that.
Okay, there we have It's not Robert Robbie.
It's Robbie's fault. We blame him.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay, so guys, just fans joining us from there, just want to say how's it while we're waiting. So I see Sasha Lee Webster, I see Eric Gardner, I see wait, okay, now my computer's stuck. Okay, but to everyone who's over here, how's it? Shoot us a line over here in the comments so we can see you, we can appreciate you, and we can show you some love. Okay, so yeah, there definitely seems to be some buffering going on over here. We do apologize for that. So while we wait over there on Paul's camera just to kick back into action, I am just for a moment going to turn my attention over there to Daniel. And Daniel will see that hard at work over there on the North Star, yes?
Yeah, I'm working upside down right now there. Yeah, with watercolor, it's like, well, which way do I want it to run and bleed?
Yeah.
So right now it's unfortunately upside down, but it's getting there. I'm going to be doing like the Northern Lights in Rainbow.
Oh, that is awesome.
Very cool.
So he's going to be kind of floating above them.
Nice. Okay, so Daniel, now over here as well, right? So are you also using some form of tape or something to make sure that you don't have bleeding going onto the main sketch itself?
No, I don't do that. I just brush.
confidence.
It's called brush control.
Okay.
Bring the show.
I've had really bad experiences with things like masking fluid and stuff like that. So
masking fluid is
man,
It's nasty stuff.
I've ruined pieces, like absolutely ruined when they were at the very end, and I was like, you know what, never again. I'm just gonna, like learn to not do that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. I've had pieces where you add it and then by the end you're trying to peel it off, and huge chunks
Yeah.
of the paper, like the top layers or so, like come off with it.
That's when you start to cry.
So
Find you
I
can use,
think
I'm sorry. Go
I've
ahead.
been no. I was just gonna say I've been looking into why that actually happens, and I think it has to do with like the amount of water that you typically use on like a watercolor piece. Like it will sometimes kind of remove some of the sizing on the paper itself. So when you put down masking fluid and stuff like that, it's supposed to be adhering to the top of the sizing. And whenever you're peeling it up, it actually, if that sizing isn't there, it just sticks to the paper. So it's like, well, there's nowhere else to go. So I think that's actually why it happens. I don't think it's actually because it's bad. It's just I use too much water on my pieces. So
Yeah, there's different techniques with the watercolor, and I'm the same way. I end up using some of my pieces get drenched.
yeah.
One time I remember. It was like the masking. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the masking fluid I find, unless it's a fresh jar of it, I find that it can actually yellow the page quite a bit, like wherever you apply it. Mine's only a couple of years old, and I don't use it for much, but I needed it for one specific job, and I bought a jar of it, and I kind of just ignored that I had it. And then I recently used it, and I found if it didn't pull the paper, like I'm always using very sturdy paper, but it would leave a yellowish kind of like a tea stain almost on the paper, which if you're going for the whole idea is to preserve the bright white of the paper, and then you lay this stuff down and you peel it off and you got yellow. It's like, well, that's not what I was going for. But anyway.
Like, right.
Yeah.
You got to make sure your character's yellow then.
Simpson all the time.
All day, every day, people. All day, every day.
It's great for Sinestro.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray, working digitally here tonight. So take us through it. So I see so many layers, Ray. I see so many layers. How are you keeping track?
I'm very anal retentive when it comes to layering, so I'm very specific. I'm very controlled about it because quite a few of my students are here, so you can actually ask them. so because I shout at them when they don't name their layers and everything like that. So what I'm doing is I've roughed out I rough out the body in one layer, so you can see if I switch it off. So the gray outlines with the one layer. Then what I do is I normally sketch details over in the red layer. Okay, so if I switch both off, you can see where the cleans are at the moment. But if I switch off the cleans, for example, so that's the full process. So I start like this. All right, so it's kind of like your basic generic mannequin. Full disclosure as well, because I have no idea how to draw a pose like this. Also, I drew it. This is currently upside down, but I actually used this guy in his glorious Speedo as reference. All right, so just to make sure I got the pose right, because hey kids, always use reference. Don't make this stuff up. All right, because the problem is people know immediately when it's not working. so that's the important thing there. All right, so then once I've mapped those out, I just set the two layers to multiply in Photoshop, just so that the line art doesn't get interfered with by the roughs. And then finally, I apply a clean. And the technique I'm using here, which often mystifies people because the pen tool is one of those tools that many people are terrified of, but it's actually really handy. So if I click 2 points here, okay, so you can see it's just a straight line right there at the moment. If I put another one in the middle and then I hold down the control key, you can see I can actually bend it like a bow. Whee!
Oh yeah, nice.
So, which is actually really useful because it allows you to get curves done very, very quickly.
Shit! I mean, oh fiddlesticks.
Yeah, oh fiddlesticks, yes. So once I've mapped out the path here, all right, so this blue line, if I switch off the red lines quickly, you can see that blue line is called a path. I right click and then I simply say stroke path. I've set it to the brush I'm currently using, so that when I say okay, it just rapidly makes a nice pretty line. Now it looks very pixelated, but that's because I'm zoomed in at 400%. Okay, this is an A3 size piece of paper. So if I zoom into actual size, that's actually the kind of crisp line art that you can get from digital, which is just awesome. And I have all the control and zero stress about masking fluid or tape or anything like that. Because if I make a mistake, I just use Control Z. It's my favorite.
Cheating.
Yeah, I'm so dishonorable today. I know I did the whole thing traditionally last week, but I'm just like, nah. Today my boy needs to look like he does in the animated series, so he needs nice clean.
Got you, fam. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I once dabbled in digital art, and it didn't work out for me because I just couldn't figure out how to get the layering system right. Because I found myself like all over the place, and then after I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, no. I mean, it's not like I know what I'm doing now, but I mean, like, I knew even less then than I do now, which is saying something. So,
shame. I can teach you, Zay. Don't worry.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. And then, last but certainly not least, now we draw your attention to that fella, Tony Moy. Once again, let's go back to Tony for a second.
Hey, what's up?
Money Moy.
Yeah,
Where's your
I
video?
left a little room here. You can kind of come in and take a look over my shoulder.
Just waiting for Robo Robin. Damn it, Tony!
What? Can you not
What
see
are
the
you doing?
video?
Why are you not sharing your camera with us?
Oh, is it not on?
Nope.
No.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Okay, just quickly, guys, real quickly,
Tony
just
just woke up.
send some love, because while Tony is like sabotaging himself over there, we got our boy Alan Bower in the bills over here sending us $70 on this thing. So let's just can we just give Alan some love over there? Thank you, Alan.
Hey, shout out, Adam.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. So yes, now we talk. Okay.
There
Thank
you go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tony's
Mr.
doing
Tony
Loki.
Moore. Yes.
There he is. Oh, beautiful, man.
So Tony, take us through it over here. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm painting Loki, and I wanted to do the sort of timekeeper version. So he's got like the trench coat. We're gonna have the little sigil of like the timekeepers, stuff like that. But I also want to make it feel like Loki, so I kind of like just tossed in his crown, and I kind of gave him like green accents in his like tie, and I gave him a green vest and stuff like that, just to like make sure that it feels Loki-esque, even though it's like timekeeper. Otherwise, it might just seem like some dude with a trench coat.
Constantine.
It could have been a Loki Constantine. Yeah, I was just gonna say. But no, that looks awesome. So now, can I just ask though, right? So it looks as though there's like a wee bit of purple going on over there, but it also looks a bit gray. So how are you managing between the two and now not having like smudging and whatnot and the bleeding going through and messing up the entire thing there?
Why purple?
The purple was the first thing I put down. So and then I moved to little bits of the outer area with like the yellows and the browns and stuff like that. So the purple part is already dried. Depending on the color that you choose, if you use like a staining color, once it dries, it's relatively permanent. You won't have to worry about kind of picking it up too much. If you scrub hard enough, you can, but now that it's dry, I can kind of use that as the foundation of the shadows, and that'll just tint all my shadows to have a bluish tone, because the background I figure is going to be much brighter, warmer. I'll start throwing in all the various colors and rainbow colors and like that, and some of that once I kind of have the structure of this part done. So that way he'll stand out a little bit more.
Okay, another question over there. So when it comes down to the drying process, do you just leave it to dry naturally, or do you have like something that you're using to blot out or to lift up some of the water? Is there any of that going on?
No, I try to let it dry as naturally as often as possible. One of the things with watercolor that makes it fun and unique and gives it its sort of flavor is when you have the pigments and they blend into each other and they slowly move and you get these really nice gradients, or you get these like little watercolor textures. And if you dry too fast, or if you warm up the paper and you shorten the drying time, you don't give the pigments enough time to sort of blend and play with each other. So you're sort of fixing them where they are. So I like just kind of get, you work on, ask Dan and stuff like that, you at conventions and stuff where you have to work on things a little faster. We're working on 2 or 3 or 4 or more pieces at the same time. And we're just like, okay, this needs to dry, and we'll put it to the side and grab the next one.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
I usually have like 3 going on at the same time, typically.
Wow.
it is not uncommon.
So basically, Danny's out here tonight, just brushing it up for con season. Guys, I saw something. It looks like on your side, out there in the States now, like you guys are going to be having con soon.
I actually went to my first one.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah, it was great. I mean, everyone was wearing masks. It was, I did an impromptu poll, and literally everyone but one person was fully vaccinated. The only person that was not vaccinated fully had already had his first shot and was just waiting for his last one. So,
Amazing.
yeah, I mean, it was
joys
good.
of living in a first world country,
Ah,
And here we are.
There's still a fair amount of people that
yeah, I live in Florida, so that's really saying something for Florida.
Florida,
Um,
man.
Canada's
Yeah.
really cocked it up here too. Like it's like I'm still waiting for my second shot. Like I probably won't get it until August at this point. It's hard to say, but
Wow.
they
Really?
like our province for some reason, and not like, well, as the great part was my wife and I got the AstraZeneca shot, and then 3 or 4 days after we got the shot, they canceled the AstraZeneca program in our province. So we actually
Right.
for the last month and a half haven't known what our next shot will be, but there's good research coming back that if we mix with like a with the Pfizer or Moderna, we should be okay. Like if we take an MNRA, we should be fine. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like I think I'm still. It's going to basically kind of be random. If I show up to get my second shot appointment, I'm probably gonna have not maybe a choice, but I'll be getting whatever served that day. So if it ends up being a second AstraZeneca shot, cool. If it ends up being the problem is right now I'm in the kind of a hot spot for the Delta variant of this virus. And
Really?
the one shot of AZ doesn't do diddly dick against against the that particular strain. So I've been trying to keep indoors until I get that second shot appointment. But we're on the list, so it'll be any day now, I hope. And I know they're moving things up a little forward, but for whatever reason, they wanted 12 weeks between AstraZeneca shots in Canada in certain provinces, or actually only in our province. In every other province, it's only 8 weeks. And this Wednesday will be 8 weeks since our first shot. So I'm hoping we're going to get on that list pretty soon and get that second one. Because I want to, I just want to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I want to move around outside and feel a little bit safer,
Yeah, the craziest part with that con was just like people really forgot how to talk to each other. Like everyone was it's weird. It's like social cues that you take for granted, like pauses in conversation. Everyone was just so excited to talk, so they were just talking over everybody. And it was like there were no pauses, none of that. It was pretty funny.
Well, everyone had their mask on too, right? Or no?
Well, everyone had, and they were pretty good. Honestly, this con was run really well. It's by the same people that do Awesome Con, the big DC convention.
Oh, cool.
So Ben Penrod, the guy who started it all, started this one over in Lakeland, Florida, which is right in the middle of Orlando and Tampa. So it's 1 hour drive for both of those places. It drew a really big crowd, and the crazy part was everyone was buying, like everybody.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was it was actually going to be one of my better cons.
Wow.
Like after that,
Wow.
it was kind of bizarre, but
Did
in a
you
good way.
Never had anything to spend money on.
Yeah. Well, I think people were really thirsty for conventions.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I'm thinking.
True that. through that. Like, our friends over here in South Africa for Comic Con Africa, and just for anyone who might be interested, we were hoping to actually do something, this year, but unfortunately, just the way things are going right now, it's really impossible to do so. And it's the most devastating thing because, that's really the big one that everyone looks forward to. And there's really nothing going on here. But what I keep on saying to everyone, just call me Mr. Bright Skies here. But I genuinely believe that historically, when you look at it, after every plague, there has been a golden era, like a golden age that comes afterwards. And I am convinced that once we get past this, like these really, really dark days, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a golden era. And that there, if we continue doing our work in terms of continuing to create awareness and continuing to create an appreciation and understanding, not just for comic books as a medium, but also the art, and more importantly, the art, So what's going to happen is each and every one of you watching out there, whether you're watching live now or at some later point, you will understand, appreciate this. And I digress to mention that all of the art pieces you see being created before your very eyes right now will be available for sale. And if you were interested in following any of these artists or sourcing any of the works, you can do so via their respective social media handles, which we will pop in the comments or in the description below. Now, you do not get a smoother sales pitch than that. Give it to me, people.
No, that's pretty.
That was pretty
That's as good as it gets, man. That's as good as it gets.
Thank you very much. Okay, so just because I want to feel included, right? So this is where I am so far. This is what's happening on my side.
Classic.
Nice,
Yes,
nice.
Looking good.
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
So giving it a whirl there, So, but guys, let's talk. Let's change tack a wee bit over here, and let's actually have a discussion about Pride Month as a whole, right? Now, like I said when I started out, I am coming from where I grew up. It's one of these really small towns in the middle of nowhere where nobody really knows anything. I mean, to be very honest, the 90s finished there about 6 weeks ago. So they are now in the early 2000s. So that will give you an idea. That will give you an idea of how backward things were over there. And I just think that it is the most phenomenal thing that we really now are seeing people just being comfortable and just being allowed to be themselves. I think that's wonderful. And from the perspective of mainstream media, this is the epiphany I had earlier. Let me break it down to you. When you look at Thor Ragnarok, right? When you look at Thor Ragnarok, when you look at Thor: The Dark World, on the rare occasion that you might actually find yourself doing that, and even the first Thor movie, you notice that Thor and Loki have this, like this low-key, but really, really strong, tight brotherhood, And obviously Loki gets it wrong every now and again, but Thor himself, he has this undeserved love for his brother. The only time you see him like being a bit pissed off is, of course, in Avengers. But other than that, it's like hardcore. And yet now we see in the Loki series that actually, Loki is, I think we were saying is pansexual, according to the, did we say pansexual?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's assume. Okay. For purpose of the discussion, I'd like to use pansexual, right? Because I was watching this thing about Norse mythology the other day, and Loki was involved with, like, some of his kids are like Fenris the wolf, and then he's got like a stag as a kid, and so Loki gets around, right? The point that I'm making
He
is
hooked up with a horse.
Yeah.
he did. He actually did.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's in the Marvel mythos that his sexuality is not a point of. It's not an identifier, in his relationship with the rest of his family. And like I said, coming from the background that I come from, which is very, very conservative background, the way people relate to you, is in some way, shape, or form dictated by your identity, which is wrong. You should just be who you are, and you should be loved or appreciated or hated or whatever the case may be because of who you are, not necessarily because of what you identify as. So I just think that the fact that is, again, Loki in the the Marvel universe, I just think that's brilliant because it just occurred to me how inclusive it all is. And I thought that was really, really cool. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, I think that's something that that Marvel has kind of been there, you know, with their message, with their undercurrent of message of inclusion. When it came to like the mutants and the X-Men, it was just like, hey, this acceptance sort of feel of things when North Star first came out and everything else. You know, just trying to say like, hey, that this is just how it is, and this is, I mean, that's how it. I believe too, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, and we accept people for who they are.
Love is love.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
No, the thing I like most about the whole Loki thing is that Marvel actually stuck pretty close to the mythology of it all.
Yeah.
You know, it has actually been that way, Loki in general, since, you know, the Poetic Edda, which were the tales that they were all based on. And, you know, they were pretty true to, well, you know, he really kind of was for everyone, literally.
Yeah, and also I genuinely believe that we just live in braver times. So people are
We
actually
do,
able
we do.
to express things, and with especially, funnily enough, thanks to COVID, and with the mass consumption of comics and TV and everything like that, where people have finally been able to engage with these characters, and animated and comic producers are actually able to just tell new stories. I mean, there's the comics like the Lumberjanes, for example, which is one of the best
Right.
LGBT comics ever made.
Yeah, that's a
And it's phenomenal, and I highly recommend that everyone reads it. But it's just this era is so great because with the drop in regulation and conservancy of the media, we've been able to actually just generate so much more content all the time. I mean, just if you look at the Castlevania series on Netflix, the fact that Alucard is bisexual, and also actually the many different relationships that you see with the various vampire characters, it's quite remarkable. And it was something we would not have seen a few years ago, to be fully honest.
True,
Right.
true.
That is a very good point.
More recently, I think, and again, like, you know, with Netflix, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but that
Love it.
brilliant. That is awesome. Oh wait, I need to ask you guys, right? Are you guys seeing a lot of Master of the Universe stuff being on sale in your like special stores? Oh, dude, like seriously, it is so rough. I hope you guys are buying that stuff because it is so rough out here. You cannot get a
nothing.
He-Man or Skeletor. You cannot
Really?
get a He-Man or Skeletor.
So
Yeah,
what you're saying is we need to send some stuff down there, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently.
I would be so grateful. I will get PayPal and everything, you know. But it's but okay. I wanna make a prediction over here. So, you know, like Master of the Universe Revelation is coming out,
Yeah.
right? So I am making a prediction over here, right? I think that we will see some representation there, and we will see it in Mossman.
You think so?
Mossman?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's gonna be Beastman.
Well, I mean, technically, Adora is in. I mean, he is her sister. Spoiler alert. Sorry, but so she already is there. She exists. So.
I think it just makes sense to be Manny faces.
I see
What
you
about
did there.
Skeletor? Yeah,
No one is more evil than Skeletor.
yeah. What?
You buffoon! Skeletor had the best insults. Like there's a video on YouTube. You guys need to check this out, and I urge everyone to read. There's a video somewhere on YouTube where it's just like 7 minutes of Skeletor's insults. You know,
It's so good. Yeah.
And also,
I think
how
I've
awesome
seen
is it
that.
that
I
Mark
think that's
Hamill
awesome.
is Skeletor now?
oh,
He is?
the best
Yes,
thing.
he is.
Wait, what?
Yes,
Mark Hamill is Skeletor.
Yes.
so
Get
great.
out of town, really?
For
No
real.
way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the greatest thing I've heard all day.
That was the clincher for me. That was the clincher. Because, you know, there's been a couple of He-Man reboots that have been a little bit
Meh.
off the mark, you
There's
know.
a word. Yes.
Yeah, but when I found out that Mark Hamill was Skeletor, I'm like, okay, I'm in just for that.
Yeah.
Anything else,
Yeah.
I'm in for that. Which kind of a
And
shame,
Kevin
though,
Smith.
because the original voice of Skeletor, that actor is still alive.
Huh.
I don't know if
Alan
they can hit
Oppenheimer.
I don't know if they can hit those high notes. He's quite old now, but I think given the chance, he could probably pull off a pretty decent Skeletor. So I was
Yeah.
kind of bummed out that it wasn't him, but I'm glad it's Mark Hamill. If it can't,
Have you heard Mark Hamill's
It had
yet?
to be someone else. Like that's.
He actually sounds
He
really
is.
good.
Yeah.
Two things over there. Alan Oppenheimer, the original voice. Just listen to me, Daniel Govaring right now. Like, I actually know a little bit about continuity and stuff about this movie.
Govaring? That's a verb now.
That's the thing. Like Govaring is like where like Daniel explains things and you realize, why am I such a savage? Why am I such a savage? You know? Like, anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we're out here Govaring, you know? So hashtag Govaring. It's and you find it juxtaposed against Tony Mooring. We have a continuity, people. We have a continuity.
Continuity, please.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate that you couldn't join us. I'm hoping that you still tune in slightly later. But so Alan Oppenheimer is actually doing one of the voices in the series. I just can't remember which one.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, he is going to be doing one. So I'm hoping so. So wait, where's the thing? Oh, I haven't unpacked it yet. I got where's this thing? Oh man,
Did you go shopping?
No, so one of my friends opened up a new comic book store, and I was there over the weekend. And I actually got some, I picked up some of these Master of the Universe Origins figures, and I just don't know where I left it now. So yeah, I was going to show you guys something, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll do it another time. So how's everyone's art coming along over there? So let's start out, Robbie, if you could zoom us in on Mike. Let's have a look at how that Constantine is coming out. Sure. Or Constantine, sorry.
Whatever we'll call him John. I did my rough sketch on this scrap of paper, and then because I don't like, I do a lot of correction when I'm drawing, and I don't like to beat up the sketch cover. So what I do is I do a kind of a poor man's carbon paper, and I basically just do my rough sketch on the paper, and then I rub like kind of a charcoal or a conte on the back, and then I to the size that I want and placement, just to avoid the overhead banner and stuff like that. And then I just place it with a couple of pieces of masking tape, and then I just draw over my lines and kind of make small corrections as I go with a very hard pencil. And what that leaves is a very fine brown, kind of charcoal mark transfer that's lighter than pencil. I can still erase it and make corrections if I need to, and then I can just go in and erase and start inking and laying in washes. But yeah, it's coming along here.
I saw you going back and forth. I'm like, are you doing a freaking flip book?
No, I just like using the when it comes to sketch covers, I especially these DC ones, which have a much softer and it's a kind of a more softer matte paper. It's very nice paper to work on, actually, but it also bruises very easily from pencil.
Yes.
So what I do is I just do all my rough plotting, usually for all my drawings, actually, on just really regular scrap paper, like printer paper. Kind of work out all my problems on that, and then I just rub the back basically with blue or brown or gray charcoal, and then rub it nice and smooth to get an even ground, and then I just kind of overdraw, and I get a nice, and it just ends up with a nice light line that's not too heavy and not too bruisey on the paper, and then I can ink without too much interference from that, and clean it up.
What do you think about the actual? What do you think about the actual paper that they use for sketch covers?
I hate it.
Well, they're so varied, but most of them are terrible. Like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the image ones are pretty decent. They use a really decent stock. It's so I did a bunch of Walking Dead blank covers, and they were always fun to draw, and they take washes really well. I just know that what I do is I take a piece of watercolor paper and I actually slide it between the cover and the first page of the book. That way, if it does soak through, it doesn't soak through to the first page, which will start to warp the whole book. Because some collectors get kind of fussy about that. They want to have a nice, pristine copy when they go to get it graded or whatever. I don't really give a shit about that, to be honest with you. I just want to do the artwork. And I mean, I think that the grading thing can be kind of, it's kind of all over the place. I've literally set covers on fire and had them come back at 9.4. So
yeah, it's a little bullshit.
I don't understand. It's kind of, it's kind of weird, but I do try to keep them in good shape, because some collectors will ask me before they even start bidding on a piece, like, do you think it's a 9.8? I'm like, I don't know if it's a 9.8. I don't know if it's an 8.8. I don't know if it's a 3. I know that when I'm finished drawing on it, it's going to have the hell beaten out of it. So, at this point, but at least if I start with a decently, perfect book, then whatever it ends up as, and at least it started out as a good one. And they'll still kind of usually bid on that, but sometimes I'm surprised they come back as a 9.8 or something like that. But it's never really my intention to really care about that. I just because the artwork is what's got to come first. But yeah, like I set a cover on fire once. I did a controlled burn. I was drawing Sunfire from the X-Men, and the guy wanted like something interesting happening on the edge, so I wet the edge, and then I took my lighter out and I burned the wet edge. So it just burned it until the fire extinguished. So it had this rough, deckled, burnt edge, and it came back as a 9.4. So I don't know.
Wow,
that's ridiculous.
I've done some that were like perfect, and I mean absolutely perfect. Every bit of care was taken, but like one tiny dot of ink ends up on the first page, and it comes back as like an 8.9 or a 9.1. And I'm like, this is such garbage. Like, I don't know why anyone puts any faith in this at all. But it's part of my business. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
I'm looking at you.
That being said, with that being said, hi to McManus and friends at CGC. Love you guys. Just you know what. The thing is though, like that particular segment of the market is rough. It is rough. But I know that CGC has actually. I read somewhere that they hired I think it was 100 new people.
Yeah, they just had a huge hiring. Yeah.
So I think that what we're going to see is we are going to see some serious variance now in terms of grading standards over there. But I tend to like this thing because I mean, at some point I'm going to get something from each of you now to put somewhere over here, and then I would like to have it preserved, not necessarily for the the quote unquote value of the graded value, but more to preserve it. You know what I mean? So I'm all for that. But thank you. I was planning on dabbling a little bit in blank covers as birthday presents, and that explanation you gave on how to actually preserve the book, flippin' brilliant, man, flippin' brilliant. That's some next level stuff right there. Next level stuff.
It's just a staging thing. Like I don't like to beat the book up too badly. I mean, sometimes I'll just start fresh with a cover, and however it comes out. But yeah, if I know I want to try to keep it in good shape, I just do my sketch on scrap paper ahead of time. And it doesn't have to be a finished sketch. Just get the basic fundamentals and foundations laid down, and an idea where your shadow is going to go or where your light source is, and then just transfer the lines over, and then just work from that. So it's handy.
Magnificent, brother, magnificent. All righty then. So with that being said, Robbie, if you would indulge us and take us over to my brother Paul from the house Limgenco, because that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
It's cross on over there. So
you're the best at pronouncing it.
I practice. I work hard at this thing. Yeah. So, dude, epic. So I can see basically you have I don't know what the word is called, but when you have sort of a perspective shift. Am I trying to say the right thing over there? So that's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Am I allowed to say shit? Are we allowed to say that? Assuming we are not, I do apologize.
You're gonna get kicked out of the job. You're gonna have to work with CGC.
Brittany McManus is magnificent. Okay, Brittany McManus is magnificent. So I would be privileged to spend time working with her and her team. They're such excitable people. But anyway, so Paul, take us through it over here.
I pretty much finished the background, I guess. We'll see how I feel about it when I wake up in the morning. Just did just silhouettes of buildings and put a few lights to make it look a little populated and a bit of a hint of the bat signal up there. The idea is Catwoman sitting at the edge of her condo window, and I have her, you can't see it yet, but she's gonna be smoking something, because I figure in my world Catwoman smokes for some reason, because that's cool.
Don't smoke, kids.
Right?
Yeah. Buy comics.
I don't smoke. But Catwoman here does. And then gave her a blazer over her shoulders, maybe this is some well, I guess this doesn't really this clashes with the theme a bit, but I was like, maybe this is Bruce Wayne's what's it called, blazer that's over her shoulders right now.
Nice.
Boss, just epic,
Yeah.
just epic. Paul, can I ask? I just like like the way you guys do stuff, the techniques that go into it. So I find a lot of value in learning how that goes as well. Now, when I look at the curtains of you on the side, and I know it's a silly thing to like zero in on, but it adds so much of life and depth and all of that. Like as the pieces. How do you create that kind of effect?
Which, like this stuff? I'm not frozen again,
Like,
am I? Oh, I might be.
I don't know how to. No. It's on the right hand side of this, so it looks as though it's like got like those. I think it's called voile curtains. Like chiffon kind of look. So how do you do that? Because I can see like in the background, I can see like there's a continuation of the silhouettes of the buildings over there. But this here has sort of like the what's the word? I can't English, but you know what I'm trying to say.
You
Well,
can't
it's like-
English.
You can't English. Well, let's see if
That was
I
a great word. I cannot English.
Yeah.
Are you
With an
referring
English.
to the word? Zaid, are you referring to the word undulating?
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, that's what you mean. I don't know.
Everyone out here, like they
on
know
the
what
surface.
undulating. Screw all of you guys.
I mean, you just do it.
Yeah. Just do it like English.
Yeah.
So
I'm from Africa, man. I'm from Africa.
As am I.
so
Ray.
I don't know. You kind
I
of
went to a Model C school. I went to a government school.
I went to an all-boys school. I got clapped.
So they clapped the English into you.
Yeah, puts.
To our foreign friends from America and everywhere else, I assure you what Ray and I said was hilarious.
Yes.
You guys just don't get it.
It was
It
utterly
was
hilarious.
hilarious. It was hilarious. See, Alan's laughing. Alan gets it. Alan gets it. But anyway, yes, Paul. Okay, so the juxtaposition of the undulation against the silhouette in the
Are
background.
you Govaring again?
Yeah.
I am.
just-
It's sort of like a plugin. It's like an app. So like my operating system can't run two apps at the same time. So I can either be like, I can't English, or I can start Govaring. It's one of the two. You can't do both at the same time.
you're
my.
you're doing too much English.
Yeah, ne. Okay, so wait, for all our South Africans out there, who took my iPad? Hashtag
Yes,
this
who
thing.
took my iPad?
Who took
I had
my
it, but
iPad?
now it is gone.
So now it's- okay, wait. So just for the benefit of our friends here, last night our president addressed us about like what's going on, and he was like very, very morose and very, very sad, and like it's like, oh man, things are really, really bad out here. And then suddenly in the middle of everything, he's like, who took my iPad? He's live on TV, like national
Oh my
TV.
God.
Who took my iPad? It was here just now. How? It seems I've
Now it's
lost it. Now it's gone. I don't know what happened. Then he asked someone over there, like in the crowd, "Can I sit down?" I mean, dude, you're the president of the country. You can do the Bacarina if you wanted to. You'd be fine. But anyway. Hashtag love to the president. Love to the president. Moving right along, Ray. That's as good a segue as I have over there.
Yes.
Ray, how are we doing over there?
Yeah, so I'm busy doing my flat tones now.
Looks
And
great.
so thank you. So what I did here was just on the outlines, there's a technique with that comic colorist use called punching out the outlines. So it's just to actually give a little bit more volume and depth. So it's not just repetitive black outline. It makes it look nice, so that when I start doing the shading, it'll actually help pick up the color a lot more, so that it's not just the kind of black on black. So it actually helps a lot when you're thinking about, especially using contrasting and complementary colors. There's a lot of color theory that goes into base coloring. And so this is the kind of thing you need to think. So I also need to show you, this is the actual correct way around. So I've been working on it upside down at the moment. So the composition is in my mind, but I just need to finish it now. I'm one of those people, I draw the character first because backgrounds are things of loathing. So I save that for last so that I can suffer, because the character art is great. So the background's not so much. But at least again, I've noticed I don't quite like his position on the screen, so I can just shift select it and move him, and then wow, I press enter and yay, he is there. Ah, such joy. Me and my digital art.
I gotta ask you, Ray, do you switch back and forth from digital to traditional quite a bit, or like do you work in both mediums?
It really depends. So I've always been a fanboy of traditional art. I mean, back in the day, before I even knew what inking was, I used to color everything in with HB pencils. So,
oh yeah.
Yep. So
I'm doing that right now. So I'm like Ray from like the same teach.
Yeah.
Telling my inner Ray.
Because I taught myself that style because way back in the day when I was a youth, we only had books to learn from and try and emulate. And Jeff Loeb was my all-time favorite artist, especially in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And the early 2000s. And so I used to try my best to emulate his inking style and everything like that. So it's always going to have a special place in my heart because that's how I learned to draw. But for now, it's just the convenience of digital and the portability and just the fact that I can work on this and I know that it's always going to be there, and I don't have to worry about damage and that sort of thing. It's great. But there's also that internal dilemma because the impermanence of data is just always an issue because you've done it and then it's just out there in the world. And for a second we thought NFTs were going to solve that problem, and now NFTs are just a joke. So there was all that stuff, and so you try and hope and everything, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a short form of the long form answer is I love both. So when I can do it, I do it.
That's good. No, one of the reasons I asked was I know that I do a little bit of penciling digitally now, and I used to do quite a bit more of it in the old days when I first got my tablet, which was about 10 years after everyone got their tablet. But I was coloring everything with a mouse and drawing with a mouse, and everyone thought I was crazy. Yeah, I had no idea that Wacom tablets existed. But what I find interesting is if I do any drawing digitally, and then I switch back to traditional, my left hand is constantly reaching for the Command Z, which isn't there.
Mine too. All the time. It never stops.
It's weird. Sometimes I stand up from my table and I think, oh, I didn't save.
Oh yeah, no, same thing. Or I do this, I try to zoom. I'm like, it's so hard to draw this eye. I'm just gonna zoom with my finger touch, but it's paper, man. Like it's just this weird disconnect that happens between the two. I just wondered if I was the only one, so I'm glad that I'm not.
I definitely don't miss the neck pain and backache from traditional art. That I can tell you.
Oh yeah.
Going back to the whole mouse thing, like painting with the mouse. Adam Hughes, that's what he does, right?
Wow,
what?
No ways.
Yeah,
really?
Adam Hughes uses a mouse. He doesn't use a stylus.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
I know.
No,
It blows my mind to this day. But he has this whole like I've seen tons of interviews with him, and he actually is just like,
lassoing.
He clearly likes suffering.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to do with that information. That's
yeah.
Wow.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it is horrifying.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I kind of want to buy you a stylus just so
I know.
Yeah.
Like a low rent
with
Cintiq or something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what he could do if he switched from mouse? Like I was drawing a lot of books for Scholastic books years ago, like whole graphic novels, and I would be fast at the pencils and decently fast at the inks, and then they'd go, "Why is it taking you so long to color?" And I'm like, "I'm doing my best. Like I'm still putting in my hours, and I'm doing a few pages a day. Like that's pretty good, And she'd be like, "Hold on, how are you coloring?" And I'm like, "I'm using a mouse." She's like, "You mean you don't have a tablet?" I said, "No." She's like, "It's 2010, right?" She's like, "Tablets are kind of old tech now." I'm like, "I've been using the mouse." She's like, "So that's why your books, my books were always on time." But she was like, "So you've done the last 9 44-page graphic novels with a mouse?" I said, "Yes." And everyone just looked at me like I was I had just come unfrozen from a glacier, like a caveman. It was amazing. So yeah, they said, "You're gonna go and get yourself a Wacom tablet. We're gonna pay for it." And it was one of the bamboo tablets. Oh my God!
Oh, wow!
My head exploded just because I was like, I couldn't believe how much faster it was to color, like just going in and then pressure sensitivity, like the brush gets smaller or bigger according to pressure. Like that's just mind blowing if you've been doing everything with a mouse,
A whole new world.
Yeah, absolutely.
A new fantastic tool to color with. And conversation died with that. Why like this? Why like this? Why like
Because
this?
it can.
You guys are the worst. You know what? I didn't come. You know I don't understand, but I'm feeling very bullied right now. And Mike is the only person being really nice to me. And the rest of you are being bullies. Especially that damn
one
Tony.
word for you, Said. I've got one word for you: auctions. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. No, I got you. I got you. So for continuity's sake over here, so there's this comic book store over here in South Africa, very, very prolific. They call Cosmic Comics, and I urge you to go and check them out on social media as well. And they used to have these incredible auctions, so where you could get like action figures like dirt cheap, dirt cheap. And so I'd be happily bidding over there, and then Ray would just be like, mine. And I'm like, okay. It's fine.
Mine.
It's fine.
Because you can get the DC Collect figurines for like nothing. Because those are not cheap, and then so on the auctions you could get them for the equivalent of about $10. So it was so worth it. Although there were many favorites.
I have to ask, is $10 a lot of money in American terms? Like, so
no.
Yeah, it's like lunch.
Yeah.
Wow.
A decent
And
lunch.
actually, it's not a nice lunch. It's
It's not a nice lunch.
It's like a decent
Starbucks.
lunch.
Yeah.
It's better than McDonald's lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
How
it
much-
actually is a McDonald's lunch.
Yeah, you're
wait, so McDonald's is not there.
dollar menu.
Some
Oh,
travel people
well.
like they measure currency or whatever based
Yeah,
on
the
like how
Big
much
Mac
a Big
index.
Mac is.
Yes.
Yeah, the Big Mac index. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's like 2 Big Macs in Canada, $10. Yeah.
Yeah. About the same.
No fries though. No fries or
Same
drink.
over
That's
here.
just 2 pure Big Macs. Yeah.
Wow, that's scary. It's about $5 for a Big Mac here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Canada.
See, no, I'm confused now because like I'm trying to work out whether collectibles are cheaper here or on that side because like, okay, it's obviously cheaper on that side, but like, I mean, at which point does an action figure? What is the general consensus of what an expensive action figure is?
You mean like
I'm super
like a
out
hot
of touch
toy
with
or-
that. Like
Yeah.
I remember buying GI Joe figures for $3.99, at like Walmart or whatever, when I was a
only.
kid. But like $3 or $4.99. Star Wars figures were $4.99, I think. But then like now I've it's been so long since I bought an action figure. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't really have a good perspective on that now.
Yeah, because Zaid, for perspective, it's like with the latest Black Series for Star Wars Bad Batch, the figurine for Hunter costs about $500 for us.
Yeah.
But in the
Wait.
US, it's
Well, what
but
is
in
that
the US,
in what is that
It's-
in American dollars? Yeah.
in
That's
dollars,
what he said.
$30. Around about $30, I think.
Okay.
Is $30 expensive for an action figure?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like
Slightly, but not crazy.
yeah. You see them sometimes at a comic shop. Like I always found comic shop prices were like action figure prices were a lot different than like say like a regular kind of department store. But like I mean I think some of those Marvel ones would go for about 19 to 25 in that kind of range.
I wish.
Canadian dollars, which
you used
is
to get
about,
those for $7, man.
What?
Really? Huh.
What?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to get like X-Men toys for like $7.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Now
same here.
I have
Yeah.
to go and show you this 1 second. Coming up.
Maybe we're all talking about different types of toys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was like, are we talking like
Yeah, I
Fancy
used to get
toys?
hot toys for $2.
If only. Wow.
If only what?
If I knew you could get hot toys for $2. Ah,
You can get hot toys for $2.
No.
no.
said
Yeah,
no one
you don't
ever.
know that?
Yeah.
Those Hot Toys are so crazy too, man. I can't believe the work that goes into.
Well, they have
those.
interchangeable
Oh, no, Hot
parts.
Toys are
and
amazing.
things. Yeah.
I collect Hot Toys, and they just the artwork, each and every one of them is a piece of art. Yeah. So okay, so this is why I'm asking, right? See, like okay, so these are the figures I'm talking about now, right?
The He-Man ones, yes.
Yeah. So now this over here, right? Okay, so this particular one, so this is a wave 1 figure. Well, these two here are wave 1 figures, and you can't get them in South Africa, right? So now, guys, like the guys from Project VM especially imported this, and this here was $600 each, right? So 600 rand. Ray, how much is 600 rand in dollars?
It's about $40 because you times it by 10 and then add half.
Oh wow!
Right. So